Hello everyone! Welcome to our brand new podcast, the DiMuto Dialogue. For this podcast, we'll be talking about all things related to the digital supply chain, in particular for the agri-food industry. So you can expect themes such as food traceability, food safety, sustainability, as well as challenges and problems faced by people in the trade. We'll also be talking about real-life case studies that explore such challenges of conducting global produce trade and discuss any interesting industry trends. We're also looking to invite produce leaders to come on our platform and share their perspectives. But for our very first episode, we are kicking things off with an exciting story that I like to call the tale of two truths. This is a real-life scenario that happened and would probably be familiar to many produce trade players out there. So, what is the tale of two truths about? Well, this story is about a fresh avocado trade that happened between a supplier from Peru and a buyer all the way in Singapore, including the issues that arose from conducting such a trade. Now, let me just give you a little background to this story before we start getting into the details. How does the fresh produce industry currently operate? Right now, the fresh produce industry conducts trades with little to no visibility of the whole supply chain. And this disconnected flow of information actually results in a lot of problems when the fresh produce leaves the sellers to arrive at the buyer's side. When the buyers actually report issues with the fresh produce, suppliers often have to face heavy burden of proof to show that they actually did sell the product in good condition and according to the product specifications requested by the buyers. So here at DiMuto, we like to call this operating in the land of the blind due to the lack of visibility in the supply chain. If you're interested to know more, do feel free to search up our blog at dimuto.io/blog to find out more about this topic, as we have a whole digital supply chain series up on there. Now, the avocado trade. As you all know, avocados are enjoying global popularity and consumer demand is projected to increase even more in the next few years. According to the FAO, in 2017, global production of avocados reached 5.71 million tons. It's also worth pointing out that avocados are mainly grown in the southern hemisphere, and therefore they have to be transported long distances to consumers all over the world. In 2018, global import of avocados was valued at $6.1 billion, and you can tell from these numbers that there are a lot of avocados being traded and thus moved around the world. You might think that moving fruits shouldn't be that difficult or complicated, but that's not necessarily true. Ripeness is critical for fresh avocados. To have the ideal ripeness and to extend the shelf lives of the fruit, avocados have to be transported in optimal cold chain conditions, and these conditions usually differ market to market. How does the industry actually determine ripeness of avocados? Well, the same way that you and I do at the supermarket. They determine the fruit's ripeness primarily from a visual inspection of the outer skin of the fruit. Buyers would want the skin of the avocados to be as green as possible and with as little markings as possible. Typically, the tolerance level is about 5 to 10% for the amount of markings or spots found on fruits. Now, imagine you are an avocado supplier in Peru. You just sold some avocados to a buyer in Singapore, and the shipment took about a month to arrive. The avocados arrive, and then ding, you have a WhatsApp notification. You open the chat, you see the photos of the avocados, and you see a comment that goes along with it. It says, "Your avocados are too ripe." Not only that, but there was also a complaint that the pallet was damaged, which potentially caused damage and bruising to the fruit. However, right before the avocados were shipped, we actually sent out a photo of the avocados looking perfect, looking all green, packed very nicely on the pallet in great condition. Looking at the conversation on the left from the supplier to the customer, and looking at the conversation on the right from the customer to the supplier, you can see that there are actually two truths here. So who to believe, the supplier or the buyer? In this case, suppliers are often at the losing end because they actually face heavy burdens of proof in trying to show that they did sell the good quality products. The photos that they sent on WhatsApp, email, or any form of social messaging apps are often not enough. This is because there's no visibility of the physical produce as they move from the packing house to the buyer. In this instance, the avocado supplier is unable to verify, number 1, when the goods were exactly received, number 2, they are unable to identify or verify exactly which carton had the issue of ripeness, and finally, number 3, they were unable to verify if damage was done by the logistics third party to the pallet. Given that much of these trade conditions are based on a visual aspect, how the fruit looks, how the pallet looks, this can easily become a problem for when things go wrong. The avocado supplier cannot prove what, where, or how the trade went wrong, and because of this, they often bear the cost of such mistakes. This can easily cost suppliers up to 5 to 10% of every trade. So now, moving on to the magic question. How can you become the one-eyed king in the land of the blind? Well, here at DiMuto, our solutions are all about providing visibility to the agri-food trade. The DiMuto 4T Suite solution allows companies to easily track and trace every single carton and every single produce for every single trade. How does that work? Well, the DiMuto 4T Suite uses a 4-part technology solution that combines blockchain, AI, and IoT to track physical produce alongside trade documentation on one single platform to capture all the relevant data and create a new level of visibility. Firstly, every product and every carton will be tagged with the DiMuto QR codes. These are unique QR codes that are used to assign every product and every carton a digital identity, and this will help us to digitalize the produce. Next, we have what we call the digital asset creation, otherwise known as DAC, and we use these devices called DACs that help us to link the digital identities of the carton and the produce to their corresponding trade. At the same time, these DAC devices captures a photo of each carton and product before the carton leaves the packing house. And this will help the suppliers to have the visual confirmation of the product quality being recorded. The third step would be the DiMuto platform. This DiMuto platform is a blockchain-powered platform, and it tracks and traces all the physical produce as well as all the necessary and relevant trade documents for every trade transaction. This means that you'll easily be able to see sales orders, purchase orders, shipping documents, product certificates, certificate of origins, and all the necessary documentations that you will want to see. The fourth step is the DiMuto Receiver app. This is the app which buyers can use to acknowledge the receipt of goods as well as provide any feedback regarding the produce that they received. This feedback is also recorded on the DiMuto platform so that we will have one single platform that truly records all the relevant information for each trade, allowing both buyers and suppliers to enjoy a new level of visibility for the supply chain. So you can see that with DiMuto, we digitalize the entire trade from farm all the way to consumer. That's right, we also allow consumers to provide feedback by simply scanning our QR codes with their mobile phones. When consumers scan the QR codes, they are brought to a product page that allows them to access important traceability information, such as product origins, product certificates, knowing how the produce was grown, and getting to know the farmers. They are also invited to engage directly with growers and farmers themselves by providing feedback, and that's how DiMuto closes the supply chain loop. Let's go back to the story I told you earlier. How does DiMuto help the avocado supplier from Peru? DiMuto provides increased supply chain visibility for both buyers and suppliers. Both are now able to track individual cartons for quality issues, have the receipt of goods and feedback done on one single platform, and they are also able to easily track all the product photos and documents related to each trade. We are now able to create one single truth through the digitalization of the produce and the capturing of the data. Now, the supplier is able to capture every single carton of avocado at the packing house, and they are able to show that they did indeed sell the avocados in good condition as specified. This helps them to reduce the burden of proof that they usually face when it comes to resolving trade disputes. By creating a digital supply chain, we are now able to capture all the data that help supply chain players operate better with more visibility. Join us in our journey to demystify global trade today. If you're interested to know more about our solutions and you would like a complimentary demo, please drop us an email or go to our website at DiMuto.io and request for a demo. Our team will be in touch with you shortly. This is the end of our podcast. I hope you have enjoyed listening to this. Take care and stay safe, everybody.